All right then. So this is our creative Ignacio. Mate, you've made great progress since you've been in the program. It's been quality. It's been great to be a part of the process for you. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions today, just about your experience in the program and how it's been for you and the progress that you've made, and how you succeeded, and just your experience in the program in general. So, mate, the floor is yours, I guess. Do you want to kick us off? Introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Absolutely. So, thanks, Reese. I'm Ignacio Badiola. I'm naturally from Venezuela. I live in London now for the past 8 years. And for the past about 5 to 6 years, I've been involved in some sort of way or form with videography. I've always done 9 to 5s. I worked for big corporates all my life, but I started developing sort of interest into videography, creating my own videos for YouTube. I was doing mainly vlogs, just for fun, um, training routines and that sort of nutrition, the typical YouTube vlogger. So I started videography there. I really enjoyed it, and I started learning a little bit more of it. But it was still just for fun. I was making absolutely no money, like little to no money out of it. And a couple of years went by, actually 3 or 4 years went by, and I started looking into it a bit more seriously. So while still doing my 9 to 5, I started, reaching out to some companies and say, hey, I know how to make videos. Why don't we give it a try? And at the beginning, I saw my videography as a something not very valuable for businesses. So I always looked at it from the how would you put it, from the sort of user generated content side of it. So because that's where I started, like creating videos for brands that would send me stuff for free, just for me to make a video at home for them, using the product wherever it was. And I wasn't really charging for it. I was just making free videos for them, just in exchange of products that I liked. And I sort of fell into that space where I felt that videography was just that, right? Like, it's not something very valuable. It's just something that, unless you're a great videographer, someone with a lot of experience, someone that went to film school, unless you were that person, you really were unvaluable to the industry. You would just create videos for whatever, hotels in exchange of whatever, a free breakfast, or for a brand in exchange of their free products. So I sort of fell into that position, but I started getting anxious. Like, I was like, that's not possible. There has to be more to it. I'm really enjoying making the videos. I've learned a lot. I've invested so much into learning, YouTube, learning the technical side of it, how to shoot manually, how to, lenses, editing software, all that stuff. It was a big investment, both in time and money. And I was like, I follow all these videographers on Instagram, and they seem to be doing well. They seem to be selling their projects. They seem to be selling their videos. So there has to be sort of a way out of this hole that I'm in, of thinking that my videos are unvaluable, that all I could get is free products in exchange. So that's when I actually found, at that exact moment, that's when I found For Creatives. I was speaking with a friend, and he was like, why don't you check this guy out? He has a good course, just give it a look, see if that's probably what will help you. I was like, sure, I'll give it a look. So I started researching you. I looked at, your website. I looked at your profile on Instagram. And that's when I got in touch with you. We had that initial conversation where you shared everything that would be provided, all the value of the program. And I was like, this is exactly what I need. I think for two main things. One was because I perceived that you would definitely help me get out of that hole that I was stuck at, that you would make me realize that there's a lot more value, and that also that you would help me sort of look at this from a professional way, instead of hey, I'm a 9 to 5 guy that works for this big corporate and I just do videos on my free time. I got that feeling that you would help me sort of get away from that, and like, oh, I'm a professional videographer, I can do this for a living, my videos have value, I could help businesses reach new audiences, etc. So I had that initial conversation with you, and from that discovery call, it was, I had that feeling that I need to make this investment because I know that this will definitely help me. And on top of that, it will give me sort of the responsibility that I need to push forward with this dream that I had. Like, I knew that it was not like, because I kept trying for about, maybe, I don't know, for 6 months, like, all right, let me get more serious about this. Let me really try to sell something, sell some videos, prospect some clients. But at the back of my head, it was like, oh, I got so many other stuff to do. I'll do it later, whatever. And with this investment and, being part of this community, of this group, I knew that I would have the motivation and sort of the obligation of take it seriously.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
as soon as I jumped in the course, literally, aside from all the content and the great insight and tips and knowledge that you share and all the structure that is in your program and that sort of formal bit, actually being part of that community sort of switched or click a switch in my head or whatever, however you say it, that I was like, okay, now this is a profession. Like you need to get serious. You need to think as if you have no other income. So you have no longer 9 to 5. This is your only source of income. So get serious, get professional, start looking from a professional sort of lens. And that clicked immediately. And I think it was about 1 week in that I got my first deal. And it was a big deal. It was
I
a big,
remember that, mate. I
I think
remember that.
it's actually been
Yeah.
the biggest deal I've got so far. Um, I think so. But yeah, it was a big deal. And really what made me sort of get in that position was that initial conversation with you. On that discovery call, we not only discussed the course, you also we went over the client, we went over the project, what they were looking, and you sort of helped me, prepare myself for that meeting with them and have the courage to ask
Yeah.
for money. Because I remember when I ran the numbers by you, you were like, you can ask more for that, you can ask more for this, more for that. And that
And then
just
they
gave
say
me
they say
confidence.
yes. Like they say
And that
yes.
just gave me the confidence to change everything in my proposal, almost like
Yeah.
triple the numbers that I had put down. And literally, the guys just say yes, no questions, nothing. They were like, "Yeah, we want this. Let's go for it."
Yeah.
It was
Exactly, man.
almost a 5K deal for a brand, and yeah, that was absolutely incredible.
Mm.
When I got that one, I was
Yeah.
like, "This is definitely possible. This is something I can."
There you go, man. And and wherever you are in the world, like we live in the digital age now, and every company out there needs some sort of content. So think how many other companies would just say yes to that and more. You know what I mean? And that's the way you got to look at it. Like it's a lucrative space to be in, to be somebody who can actually provide that content. Albeit that there's a lot of disposable media out there that's not really an asset for a company. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with that. It's a bit of fun, and maybe it can help them a little bit. But when you strategize for that actual that value and you're adding that value to the business, whatever that value looks like, depending on what their pain points or the goals are, etc. It can look like a lot of different things. When you're actually creating a strong asset for them, because every single person out there is going to be, watching. I think the other day I read the average person now will spend something like 25 years of their life looking at a screen, and then I don't know, probably the majority of that is watching videos. Maybe not the majority, maybe around the 50% mark. It's just watching videos. So you think of the power that we've got, like creating those videos for clients, and like you say, that client was happy to put down, around the 5K mark for you. If you've got those, if you've got those appointments set regularly, it's just like you're gonna hit those 5K deals and beyond 10K deals. Like we got other people in the community doing 10K, like somebody did an 18K deal last week. And it's just, there's lots of those clients out there because there's millions and millions and millions of businesses. So, probably so many of them are gonna have that sort of budget. It's just about being proactive with the right systems. And yeah, mate, you've been great at that. So what would you say, like you mentioned um the sort of change in confidence in asking for more money and looking at it as more of an actual career. But what was that the main mindset shift you've had, or any other mindset shift you'd say you've had during your time in the program?
So in terms of mindset, I think that's the main one. Absolutely, for creatives, sort of helping me or making me look at this as as a serious thing, like not as
Yeah,
a gig, not as a whatever, as a hobby, more professionally. And then yeah, along with that, the confidence to approach companies and offer my services. I would say in terms of mindset, that was definitely the biggest shift and the main one. But then in terms of approach and ways to do things, there's also been massive changes. Like very easy example, like when I started, I had, how do I reach out to companies? So I would be sending out, Instagram DMs to brands. And I don't know I don't know if it works for anyone else, but for me, the only thing I got back is like, yeah, I'll send you my product and then just make a video for me. Like I never got a DM on Instagram like of a big deal. Like I don't think it's possible, like
yeah.
to be honest, you're not
I've not
speaking to
really
the
heard
right
of it.
people. You're not speaking to the right people on Instagram. So
Exactly.
I had no idea that LinkedIn was a great tool as it is, and that's something that I learned on the first
Hmm.
days on the course. And
Yeah,
also that was also a big change for me, like sort of the channels, how to go about it, where to go about it, how to look for prospects, where to prospect, how to approach them. That was a massive change in my approach, and I
yeah.
think that's what turned it out for me as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's where people are going to be. And then, with this very specific process, the specific LinkedIn process that we teach, when you whittle it down and then you follow the actual system, even before you actually send any outreach messages out, you can see the results and you can see how many actual leads you've got, like actual decision makers you can actually be speaking with. And it's crazy. Like, people still rely on Instagram and stuff, and LinkedIn is absolutely where it's at. But there's a very specific uh, formula on there to follow to get that, to make that happen. And then, like you say, speaking with the clients, then when you actually get your appointment set, like how does that look for you? Like how has that changed in comparison to, like, how would a conversation look now with a client compared to how it would have looked before?
So before it was more of a I don't know, how do you call it, like an informal chat, a friendly chat, just with someone on Instagram, like, hey, do you want a video? Yes. How much do you charge? Oh, this much. Oh, that's too expensive. Oh, don't worry, I'll do it for free. Whatever. It was like very informal, very, very unprofessional. And since I joined the group, it's been way more professional. It's been more of I'm a business now. I'm not just
Yeah.
this small time videographer. Like, I'm a business, so I need to like look or appear as a business. So that has definitely changed in my conversation with clients. So I have now video calls. So whenever I speak with a client, I aim for a call, a video call, um, instead of just sending messages back and forth like if you were speaking with a friend. So yeah, that's definitely also a big change here. And then as well, that the whenever it's required, the preparation of proposals. That's also something that I didn't know that we were, that could come up in a how do you say, like, in a negotiation with a potential customer. I would have never thought that, oh, I need to make a proposal, I need to make, a nice pack, and all those are things that I learned in the course. It's all very structured on how to do it, how to go about it, sort of what message to portray on the proposal, what to include, what not to include, how to include it, because all that makes a difference. What not to include, that was also a massive, a massive
Yeah.
help. So yeah, I would say that
Yeah.
is a lot more
Awesome.
professional than before.
Yeah. Yeah, the proposal module is very specific in the order of what you take them through, and why. Like, that's part of the sales process. And sales isn't the most sexiest side of it all, but it is a psychological situation where you are trying to get the client really to see how much value you can actually bring to the table with, like we said, this very powerful marketing tool that is video. And a lot of the time, clients are still stuck in the last decade or something, and they can't see the power of it. And sometimes it is a case of getting them to see it, but then you do that, they sort of admit that themselves through the right high level questioning. And then once you've got that, the budgets from there are a lot more handsome than they would have been otherwise. But yeah, like I said, there's a process to it, mate, and you've learned it and picked it up really quickly. And yeah, like you say, you're getting those consistent deals now, which is quality. So obviously in the program, we've got the course material, as you mentioned, the community, as you mentioned, and then also the one-to-ones with me. Like, what are there any other areas you found helpful?
Yeah, they've all been very helpful. Obviously, the program itself, the course, it's incredibly valuable. I was actually speaking with a friend now that was looking to join, and he was like, yeah, but what are you getting out of it? And I was like, it's probably not gonna, it's not a course to make you a better editor, a better videography shooter. It's a course to make you a better business owner. So it's a course that's going to help you sell your business, because obviously if you're not selling your business, all your skills in videography are worthless. So I told him, like, it's going to make you a better business person. It's going to give you the mindset that you are a business, and that will absolutely, skyrocket your business and your work, your business, of course. So the module is very good for that. It really sort of tells you how you should be behaving as a videographer when speaking with potential clients, and how you should be selling your business to these clients. In the community side, it's great. It's great to be a part of community with other people that face the same issues that you do, that think the same way that you do, that are in the same position that you are. It's always good, to share any issues you're having or any experiences, and then people, either give you a pat on your back, saying, it's great, it's a good job, that's very motivating, or people actually, just sort of sharing their experience to help you find solutions to any problems or issues you're having. And then the third one, we spoke about the program, community, and oh yeah, the ones-to-ones. Those have been incredibly good. One of the things that I mentioned to this friend that he's looking to join is, you not only get all that content for your business, but you also get those one-to-one with Reese, which for me have been very helpful because I think two main things. One, they really build me with confidence before speaking with any client. So having the ability to share my proposal with someone that is an expert in matter, that has had many experiences doing the same thing with other businesses, that already knows what the business will be asking, what the business will be looking for. Being able to sit down and sort of sharing my proposal with you, and giving me advice on what to do, what to change, even bringing prices up, for example, that was a big one. That's been very helpful. And on top of that, I've also managed to get support from you on the technical side. So I think our last one-to-one, we actually went over a video I was editing, and obviously you've got way more years of experience than I do in editing and shooting. So you actually gave me some very good advice on how to make the video actually more cinematographic and less sort of amateur. So that really helped me as well. So I was like, I'm just getting all out of it. It's more of a business focused course. But if you're struggling with the technical side of it, you also got support for that. So it's a well-rounded course.
Yeah, oh, nice, man. I appreciate you mentioning that as well, because that's not predominantly what the program's about. Is that the more creative side? It's all about the business side. But like you say, there's a lot of things that I haven't got experience in, but there's one thing I have got experience in is this sort of world and being in the edit with all sorts of clients and film, TV, branded content. Like that's something, that's what I've spent my career doing. And that's one thing I do know is understanding client expectations for different videos, for different products, for different entertainment or sales or whatever it is, or just for brand. And yeah, that was actually quite fun, like going into a project and just giving notes like as if a client would. And I was quite careful. I said, mate, don't take these as gospel, just this is a suggestion. But yeah, how did it go in the end? I haven't spoken to you about that since. How did that video go down?
It went very well. The client was very happy. He was very happy with the edits, with the final product. So
It was a great video, man. Is he interested in working with you again?
he is. The only thing is that he's a bit far away now. So we're trying to work some sort of a schedule for us to shoot again, maybe once a month or something. We're in conversations for that. So
Yeah.
hopefully it turns out to be sort of a recurrent client or a retainer, how they call it.
Yeah, we'll work towards that, mate. We'll say the right things to him, make sure he gets you on retainer. All right, man. So would you say, like, for anyone watching this now who's like on the fence about joining, who's like been watching 4Creatives content for a while or whatever, like, what would you say to anyone watching in that similar position to where you were before you joined, who's thinking of jumping in?
Right. So here's the thing. Well, I think the more you're involved in the business, the more normal it comes to you. But where I was before I met you, before I met the course, it was in a place where how to put it, like, I wouldn't see a videographer as a true business, like a professional true business. So if you're in that spot where you are a good videographer, you might be a great editor, you might be the best editor in the world, the best shooter, whatever it is. If you're not looking at your videography from the business lens, you'll never be successful at this. You can be the best one. You'll always be subcontracted by a good business videographer. So you'll always be making great edits, but for very, how do you say, like, for very low prices. Like, you wouldn't be earning what you should be earning if you were leading on the business side of your skills. So definitely I would suggest anyone to join the course. It will prepare you. So I know where I was very afraid. I massively had the, what is it called, I forgot the word now. Like when you don't feel you are the person to do something, so you get this, it's not a syndrome, but it's like a
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I believe a lot of people get that, especially creatives, videographers.
100%.
I think we all get that imposter syndrome where we do not believe the value or skills. And this course will definitely help you get over it in the best way possible, and will prepare you to be that businessman, to really get the deals that you want. Otherwise, as I said, you will always be an editor. And by the way, editors are way cheaper across the world. So unless you're selling your own projects, you'll never make it in this industry. And there's a lot to build on in the industry. So there's a lot of opportunities. As you said at the beginning, there's a lot of brands, there's a lot of business that need video nowadays. So being on that mindset of business, it's a great position to be at. Not just a good videographer, not just a good editor.
And you know, off the back of that imposter syndrome, I think we all feel imposter syndrome. I don't think it's just a creative people, especially. I think, because I say this all the time, but we've had the pattern I notice is we tend to be more emotional people in general, especially, you know, being in the creative industry. That's something I've noticed. But imposter syndrome is, it's not just a creative person thing, it's a human thing, and we all feel it. It's part of being the human experience. But that's why the very first module in the program, and it's something we talk about a lot in the community, the very first module is mindset. And it's like I tell you guys, like, always go back to the mindset module if you need to. You know, I'm thinking of just doing specific mindset calls, just about having that right mentality, because it is the foundation of everything. You build everything, all of your decision making, every action you take throughout the day is based on a mindset that you have, just fundamentally. And it can't be stated. Its importance can't be stated enough. So yeah, man, I'm really glad you know, you got a lot out of that, and you know, long may it continue, mate. You've clearly made progress inside the first week. Like, you got a 5K deal in the first week, and it's and you can see the deals that some of the other guys are a little bit further along in the process of getting, and it's just a matter of time till, you know, that's those bigger deals. That's where you are now. Time will pass, you hit there, and the harder you work, the more you dial in, which you are, you know, the sooner that'll happen. And you know, the only way is you know, progressing up towards that now. So yeah,
That's
Ignacio, man,
that's
thank
just one
you.
thing. That's another big thing on being part of the course, that you, like, for example, with that imposter syndrome, if you go online and, I don't know, on Instagram, for example, you don't see much of how much people charge, what's the project cost. You really don't see what videographers are making. Some people share that information, but at least from my perspective, it was always like, oh, you know, he's been in the film industry for 15 years. Obviously, he's making a lot of money. That, you know, I don't know, he sold a 80K project that you know, it's like you're looking at something not achievable. You always look at them as they're higher than you. But in the community, that's the good thing. You get to see the wins of other people that are just like you, human, you know, flesh, just like you, doing the exact same thing that you do, and you see that on a daily basis. You know, you see all these new projects being sold, and the other the other people in the community sharing their wins. That's really, you can actually like touch that. You know, it gives you that
Mm,
motivation. It's possible. You know, I can be the one. I could have sold a project myself. You
yeah,
don't look at it anymore like, oh, I don't know, it's a Hollywood actor, you know, it's far away from me. This actually is a person just like me. I could have done that same
yeah.
project. So it gives you that sort of it makes it more,
Sorry, man, you froze then. It makes you more what?
it makes it more real. It makes it more tangible.
Makes
You
you
know,
real.
that you can make a lot of money and be very successful in this.
Exactly. And, you know, I think a big misconception is, and I was speaking about this just yesterday with somebody in the community, a massive misconception is, right, my work isn't good enough, therefore I'm never going to land these deals. But it's like, from my perspective, like running this community, like I can say, all you need is filming and editing skills, work with a couple of clients. It doesn't matter if they paid you a couple of £100 or dollars or euros or whatever it is. As long as you're there, that's fine. Like your the standard of production, as long as it's okay and it's good enough, it doesn't like, as long as you can do that. All you need to learn is how to manage the business and speak to people and understand them, because a lot of the time these days it's not B2B, it's not business to business anymore, it's P2P, it's person to person.
Yeah.
People buy from people, and it's just about understanding how to be that person people want to, you know, people who know, like, and trust, people who buy from, and then how to conduct those conversations and really understand people and serve them and give them what they actually need to actually add value and help them. And that's it. Like, it's such a common misconception in our space. People are like, oh, I won't be able to earn, I won't get a 15K, 20K deal until I've got a Red camera or Ariel X or whatever. So that is not how it works, because the client will not notice the difference between that and the latest iPhone, really. So yeah, yeah, mate, it's an important mindset shift, that one, and the progress you've made in just like understanding that business side, mate. I think it's just a foundation now for you to, you know, propel your career moving forward. So, mate, it's been a pleasure. Honestly, it has been a pleasure so far, and you know, we always have good, productive one-to-ones, and you're always a great part of the community, and yeah, mate, we have a laugh as well. So it's been great so far, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds. So
It's
thank you,
been my pleasure.
Ignacio.
It's been my pleasure, Riz. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, man. No problem. Thank you, man. And yeah, where can people find you on Instagram if they want to drop you a message about the program?
Yeah, on Instagram, I'm at ignacio.badiola, or you can find me on LinkedIn as well under the same name, Ignacio Badiola Videography.
Happy days, mate. Thank you for your
All right.
time this afternoon, mate. I'll speak to you
Thank you,
soon, right?
Riz. Speak
Top
soon.
man.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, brother.